So you have 70% plus of NFL players and other athletes, NBA included, that are effectively bankrupt 5 years after retirement.
What's the average life in the NBA?
4 years.
4 years.
4 years is the average lifespan of an NBA career. And it takes us 5 years after that to go broke.
We need financial literacy in schools, K through 12. We found that kids with a bank account are 25% more likely to 50% more likely to go to college with just an account, because now they're connecting education with aspiration. And if you have money in that account, a few $100, they're 75% more likely to graduate from college.
Because the easiest thing to do is look at these folks from the outside looking in and say, dang, you didn't spend all of that money, millions of dollars gone down the drain. What were you doing? Living too high off the hog. But what you don't understand is that without a degree of financial literacy, everybody's not going to be Chad Ochocinco.
Why am I driving a Ferrari? Why am I driving a Rolls Royce and I'm Ocho? Oh, we talk about jewelry and watches and chains. Never bought real anything when I was playing. Never. What was the point? I went to Claire's.
Everybody's not going to be beast mode.
The money that I was making from off the field, that was the money that I was using to finance my life. And then I can just go eat off of that, and I don't even have to even worry or look at my game check.
What you're gonna do is spend that money, spend it before it came in, and they don't listen to the folks telling them, hey, back up a little, young man, don't spend it so quickly. That financial literacy doesn't even occur to them until that money stops coming in. And by then, a lot of times it's too late.
Before you know it, you not a millionaire no more.
Right.
You a high thousandaire. On paper, you a millionaire.
Right.
In real life, a lot of that pie gone.
We haven't even talked about the reality of the family court industrial complex, and that the leading indicator of a man who's lost a lot of money, a man who's ascending into poverty, is in fact divorce.
Larsa getting 50% of Scottie Pippen's 401k retirement plan. Scottie Pippen might be worth $20 million right now, but we know that he earned at least $100 million during his time as a basketball player.
Polite savages, you see how it happens. You fall victim to too many things at one time. You don't have that financial literacy, family industrial court complex, and yes, you're over-indexing on, look, you fell victim to the beauty equals virtue fallacy. What does that mean? That means that you actually think that just because something's beautiful on the outside is beautiful on the inside. The prettiest people do the ugliest things, and in this case does not equal virtue. That person that you thought was going to be virtuous, when it breaks down, oh, she's going to do right by me. Yeah, she's going to do right by you, all right. Right to the bank, you dig? Polite savages. Let's go.
Easy numbers, gang. I do it like this. You make $5 million, 2.5 of that gone. You got agent fees, probably another 50 of that gone. You got your dues. A lot of people don't know we got dues for the MBPA. So yeah, you got dues. So everybody put their money in the pot. So you figure you got 450 NBA players. I think the dues is 15 to 20 grand a year. Everybody put it in the pot. That's how we able to get our health care. Then you got your personal staff. Financial advisor is probably 1%. Agent at a high number is gonna get 4%.
Right.
But you can negotiate from 1 to 4.
Okay.
So before you look up, you probably at 1.5 million off of 5 with nothing. And these Benzes that we keep talking about in these mansions, girlfriends, and these Chanel bags. Before you know it, you not a millionaire no more.
Right.
You a high thousandaire on paper. Million.
Okay, so this is interesting. Probably the most important issue that we have facing our community is financial literacy. You could talk a whole lot about having an issue such as not being able to make money, job opportunity, but the worst thing in the world is not having an opportunity, because at least there's hope. But when you have the biggest opportunity in the world and you squander it, and you know you're not getting another one, you know you've had your shot, that's truly hopelessness. So financial literacy, financial responsibility, and it has to start at home. It has to start when you're young. It has to start when you're 10, 11, 12, 13 years old, understanding the family dynamics and the family economics, understanding bills that come in, bills that go out, understanding savings, understanding like, okay, this is how much we save every month, this is how much we spend every month, this is what we have to live on every month. Understanding that is paramount to not only for a professional athlete, but just the everyday person being able to survive in this world.
Right.
In real life, a lot of that pie gone. So again, and we 17, 18-year-old kids, these are our first experiences. It's gonna take us, I don't care what you go to school for, it's gonna take you 5-6 years of that experience to even realize what's happening to you.
And I disagree with this. It's gonna take you 5 or 6 years if you've never been exposed to any type of money management. But one thing is different in other cultures that I've noticed, and this is not saying anyone's better than the other, but I noticed that when I was coming up and I would happen to be, just because of music or martial arts, I'd be around other families, they would have a weekly financial planning that they sat down and went over all of the home bills with each other. And these were the families that were successful. And these aren't upper middle class families. These are firmly middle class families, two income households who are really making it happen. And you notice that those folks always seem like they had more. For instance, my family that never did that. So I always wondered why we didn't do it. And a lot of times you're trying to shield children from the realities of the world, but really you should be preparing them for the realities of the world.
Hey, listen, man, I had a week. I bought a Ferrari and a Lamborghini in the same week.
Oh.
And I rationalized it with my financial advisor. And he was like, I can't legally tell you what to do with your money, but I don't think that's a good decision.
Right.
And I said, it's cool. I'll make a bunch of I did. But I was young.
What year was this? What year? You remember?
Man, I had to be 24. I had to be 24, 25 years
So it was like
old.
your 6th or 7th season?
2012. But no, like you want to enjoy some of this stuff too,
Yeah, you
bro.
do.
Like
You do.
you want
You
to
do.
enjoy it. And so that's how athletes go broke.
This is a very good example. So he had a financial advisor. He had people telling him the right thing. He still ignored them. You're going to ignore them because it's going to be very hard to overcome your wants and that quick sensation, that dopamine rush, to having it right away. It's going to be very hard to overcome that. And the only way you're going to overcome that is if you're able to, is to have the knowledge and understanding of what money really is, what money is really good for. The biggest thing that I ever learned is money doesn't have owners, it has spenders. That money circulates throughout the entire economy over and over again. And if your money's not circulating in a way that's going to make you money, then you're going to wind up sooner or later running out of money.
70% of the players, 5 years after they leave the sport, they're bankrupt. What happens to the money?
They be spending it. I ain't make 400 million like they making now, but it's like I was broke. I remember broke. Probably a month into my rookie year, a month in, but I'm probably 2-3 checks in. Looking at my account, I can't go broke. There's no way I'm going broke. But the difference was my brother and my financial advisor have been taking half my check the whole time. So I never knew how much money I had. I just thought what I got in Bank of America.
Because listen, you only make the money for so long. Even if you have a career working 40 years, 40 years in a career, after that 40 years, you're not making that type of money anymore. But everybody can learn from this conversation if you just extrapolate the important parts and apply it to you.
A lot of people think it's like you just got a reckless spending habit.
Yeah.
It ain't that we got reckless spending habits. We just got crazy overhead. And once the checks stop, it gets completely different. It's nobody sitting there giving you real numbers because it's coming in so fast. Money coming in so fast. That's just a contract. Like you might have a shoe deal. You might have some endorsements. So you feel like gonna be forever. It was culture shock to me. The first week I didn't get a big check from being retired.
Over 5-7 years, 100 million is not 100 million. You're not even seeing 50 of that million. You got to come back to reality now.
Right.
Because now you ain't got the bread. You got to be honest. You talking about taking 48%, half your check, right? So that 10 goes to 5 over 5 years. You got taxes alone, that's going to hit you. Boom. You can't.
And I actually looked this up. 60 to 65% of NBA players go broke within the first 5 years of retirement.
I was hurt. So because I got hurt, 6 years, 7 years, the thought of I'm never going to play again. That process of I'm never going to make another dollar, you know, the horror stories of what's going on. But when an NBA player retires, or just anybody who makes a lot of money and then it stops like that, right? You know, lawyers and stuff, they're mentally preparing for when, I might have 2 more years. NBA player, Melo didn't know when he was retiring. He just said, we don't want you no more, right?
Where it was like, life has begun. Like I feel like my life really started when I retired, bro, because I never spent that much time at home. I never spent weeks at a time in my own crib.
So is that another reason where they say a lot of when athletes retire, they get a divorce too? Because now they home so much.
Hell yeah. You don't really know the woman you married. I'm from Atlanta.
Right.
If I'm playing for the Clippers, she might move with me. But I'm on the road 3-4 nights a week. I only got to deal with her for 2 nights at a time.
Wow, and this is something that a lot of folks don't understand. You see all of these professional athletes getting divorced. They're never home. And when they're home, they're super locked in, they're super focused. The only time they really live a normal life is probably a month a year. So you have a month a year where you're letting your hair down, and you're going to rationalize that saying, hey, you're having a good time because your season's so long, 82 games plus preseason, workout over the summer, always working on your craft. You know, it's not just showing up at the game. They're practicing. They're working on their own individual game. They're doing everything they have to do. And then you get home and you realize that the person you're with, whether it's male or female, she's looking at you like, man, I'd rather you not be here. And guess what? That money's not there. Man, the money's not there. So how do you sweeten the pot?
You dig what I'm saying? I got to deal with her 2 nights at a time during the week. You know how we keep her happy? Keep sending her to the mall. That's how you keep her quiet. That's why it's okay. It's okay. I understand. It's a sacrifice. I'll stay home with the kids. Right. It's okay. You know why? Because she can shop in peace. Right. You ain't in her ear. And you on the road doing whatever you doing. She ain't in your ear. Come home 2 days out that week. Play family. And then you retire and you got to deal 24/7. Play house. Tough, you playing house. You on your best behavior. How about that? That's the reality. So when you get to a place where, like I said, I was single, so I'm coming home with just my crib. Let's say you don't even have kids involved, or you got a long-time girlfriend, y'all.
And when we're speaking about financial literacy, another lead indicator of going broke very fast is a nasty divorce. I mean, we have to be honest. You see those divorce numbers, you see like Scottie Pippen paying that alimony. You see people have 30%, 40% legal fees, millions of dollars. I mean, it's scary out there. And what's really going on is that if you're unable to deal with your life at a real adult level, you're gonna come out and lose. When you're home 4 days a month, not to get married, not to have children. It's crazy, but why are you doing that when you're just not gonna know the person? Now, that's just my suggestion as a human being who's been around the world and understand. But he just said, you come home, she's upset, she's in your ear, and you don't even have the money to send her shopping no more. Dang.
Y'all really got to get to know each other for real. Because he's used to spending time with you. So how you going to keep her happy when your keep her happy button is send her to the mall?
Ooh.
And that $500,000
money
check
all gone.
that you got last week, that ain't a $500,000 check this week. So when you come home, man, y'all don't know who y'all are.
Thank you for watching the Tip Network. Follow us on all social media outlets and ask yourself one burning question. Can you handle the tip? Boom. We're out.
We found true happiness.